Yeah.
Mhm. I have a question about the fate points. Should we be saving any of them for character creation? Okay. Then I do want to use my last fate point for the Kingdom of the Rose. So again, super self-indulgent. Um, so the Knights of the Rose have this reputation, whether earned or not, where people like write stories about them, bards write songs about them. That the Knights of basically there's like a fan club. The Knights of the Rose have a fan club out in the world, and some knights are more like revered than others. And they have this reputation for being strong and smart and very capable, and that all the knights are super hot, but also super romantic, like in the very like
Mhm.
movie traditional, like like chivalrous knight kind of way, So if someone sees a Knight of the Rose and they're identifiable by their armor, maybe some kind of emblem or some other stuff that they wear, um, you know, people are like, "Oh my God, it's the knight," and maybe some of them like feed into that and like, "Here's a rose, baby," or something. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So the knights have a fan club.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a tuxedo mask competition.
My mic. Sorry,
Did you not unmute yourself in
I
OBS?
didn't unmute myself.
I wonder what that's like. I would never have done that on Saturday. Um,
yeah, I think it makes sense just from, you know, a natural like way that humans behave kind of place that there's some, competition that arises from that. Um, I also think that some of the knights are probably enchanted. Um, and maybe that plays into their abilities. Maybe that plays into some of the stories that
Yeah.
are built around them. And again, sometimes these stories may not even be fully justified. They're just people's perceptions of these knights as being, super awesome.
Cool. I like the idea of the bards maybe being important, not just for the knights, but maybe for singing the songs of important people in general.
Hmm.
Being sort of the hype.
Right. Yeah, the hype men
Yeah.
and women, the hype folk.
Yeah. The hype
There's
folk.
a knight that has their own bard that's like
Yes.
really high level.
Yes, I like that actually a lot. Maybe some of the squires turn into bards because they're like,
Good
well, shit.
transition.
Yeah, I was like, shit, I'm never gonna be a knight. These guys kind of lied about that career path, so I guess Oh man, now I have like ideas in my head of like
Yeah.
secret trysts between squires and their knights and all kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you a
Well, but-
song. That'll
What
come
do you
in
think?
the
I
next
also have a-
campaign.
I have a question with that.
Yep.
Do you think there's also a double-edged sword with that? Because all the knights have a vow of chastity, which means
Yeah.
that if
I already forgot.
which
No,
means
it's
that
great.
for the big fan club who wants to get at them and wants finds them hot and romantic and all of that,
So good.
there's that battle between the knights of who gets to be the most popular, but at the same time who gets to be the most popular is most at risk of breaking that vow of chastity and
Yeah.
therefore ceasing to become a knight to begin with.
Yes.
So I think it's a really cool sort of play of both going at the same time.
Yeah, and technically they're supposed to be married to the rose anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, so maybe there are some knights that people know that they are, romancing people
So
in secret, and like that
So-
creates friction.
right. So Nox, have we defined, or everybody, have we defined the rose as to what that is? Is that a concept? Is that a physical thing? What
Have
is
people seen
that?
the
Because I
rose?
have ideas.
Oh, you have an idea? Do you want to spend a fate point?
Yeah, but I don't want to. Like, I don't want to have like a big thing
That's
that's
what
like.
the fate points are for. Like, take a big thing, do it.
Well, I feel like maybe the rose is an actual rose that exists in the eye, and that part of the voyage of a knight is to be the one who gets at it, because they're married to the rose, but they never get to see it, and they never get to
The
exist
rose isn't
in the
in
same
kingdom?
world as the rose. No, the rose is in the eye. It's in the ring world. It's like at the center of the darker woods, and
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I like that so much.
Yeah.
so that it's literally the most, here we are again, untenable thing that
The
they're
word
all.
of the
I know.
day.
It's literally all roads lead to that. But I feel
maybe because of that, the Knights of the Rose are the only ones that can withstand like Fey magic.
Mm.
Right? Like they're still mortal, they're still human, but either their training or maybe some magic in their equipment or something, maybe it's more fun to leave that undefined,
Yeah.
means that they can stand toe to toe to a Fey.
So I like that idea. In my mind, I had envisioned the rose as being like a figurehead, like a title. So maybe that could still be true. Maybe the knights are the only. Maybe that's really why the knights exist, is to protect the real rose, which exists in the Ringwoods.
Hmm.
There's still this figurehead of the rose, and the. Go for it, Dylan.
What if the Rose was a real person and is also in the Ringwoods? What if they were taken by the Fae, and so like there's this sort of like order-wide quest that is somebody must someday go and recover them from the Ringwood?
I think that in that circumstance, it should be that the Fae took the rose like lawfully, because otherwise there would just like be a war.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like the
There
Order
was
of the Rose is like they're doing their thing, they're protecting the realm and everything, but it's also like, can you be the one to bring the rose back?
There was a deal, or they ate food when they knew they shouldn't, or
Yeah.
something, and by contract, by right, they belong to the Ringwood, but humanity wants them back.
Yeah.
How long
I mean-
was this? I almost feel like it was not
Like-
recent.
Like 2,000
Yeah,
years
like
ago.
Yeah,
thousands of years ago.
Yeah, totally.
What if it was Snow White?
Sure.
Like one of those original
Hmm.
fairy tale figures that everybody
Yeah.
calls lineage from.
Yeah, and like I agree. I figure like it's happened so long ago that nobody even remembers why.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
there's just
yeah.
like a bunch of stories like, oh, this is what at this point nobody knows, nobody really remembers.
Mhm.
No, and the knights don't really give a shit unless it helps them retrieve the rose and bring them back.
Yeah. I like it.
I'm a fate point on that.
You're gonna fate point
I'm
on
a
that.
fate point all. I'm a fate point all over that. Okay.
Yeah.
They're like, how are you going to pay for this? Fate point?
Yeah.
Fate point, please.
Slide. Slide.
Okay. So the rose was taken. I gotta fit this in.
I love this.
Yeah.
You guys.
Who is in charge now? Is my question. Is it a
The-
council? Is it still one figurehead?
The Council of Thorns.
Oh yes, of course it is. DC, do you want to spend a fate point on that?
Fuck yeah.
Swipe that. Swipe that.
Council?
Oh, that's
The
so
Council
good.
of
That's great.
Thorns.
Every rose has its
Oh,
thorns.
damn it, Dylan.
Yeah.
And every knight has their bard.
Okay, roll 20 is not cooperating with me right now. Yeah, it's frozen. Oh, good.
That's so badass.
Oh, I've never spent fate points but now that I know their power.
Yeah.
Yes.
They like
Yes.
significantly get nerfed when we get into role playing, but for now they're super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea because one, it implies, well, obviously it's a council, so it implies there's more than one, but that means that each person is like a thorn, and
Ooh.
there's so much potential for what to do with that. But it also sounds
Yeah.
super ominous.
Yeah.
What if? Okay, I'm gonna spend a fate point on this because I still have two. So the Council of Thorns is composed of the nobles who are the direct descendants of the fairy tale characters, and their magical bloodline, their magic is what gives magic to the knights.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Cool.
I'm all about that.
And we don't have to decide who those who they're descended from yet, but like that'll be fun
Yeah,
to explore
but like,
in the fiction.
but like,
Yeah.
I imagine each thorn has an order within, or a chapter within the Order of the Rose, where like a knight would be like, yeah, I get my power from my thorn.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
interesting thought. Which might, I wonder if that means that not all, so maybe that means that the knights that are enchanted are only the ones that are like the right hand of the thorn, basically.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of command that order
Yeah.
because they have these special powers.
Well, and I imagine there's some like really sticky politics there too.
Sure.
Where like you do a nice thing for a thorn and oh, you have a little bit of a boon now. Like, oh, you can make
Mhm.
light happen. Isn't that cool with your little bit of magic?
Mhm.
And then maybe it's, well, if you do something nice for this thorn, then you might be able to get this power. But if you worked for that one, then, and so like people need to decide who they're working for, but also
Right.
like maybe some people try and play multiple sides so they can become even more powerful.
So
Mm.
then
Yeah.
is
I
the
almost feel like
council
the-
at
Sorry. Go ahead, Amir.
No, I just wanted to ask with regards to that. So does that mean that the Council of Thorns is really at odds at the same time? So they're in
Probably.
competition with each other?
Yeah.
So they're okay, so they're politically opposed in a way.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's
They're almost
like
noble
well,
houses.
because
Mhm.
everybody
Instead
wants
of
the
houses
same
of
thing.
thorns.
Everybody wants
Mhm.
the rose back, except maybe somebody doesn't. Maybe
Yeah,
somebody really
of
likes the
course.
way things are now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But not everybody agrees on what the best way to do that is.
Right.
Yeah. And also they want to be the thorn whose knight gets the rose.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Cool.
Does that mean I have to decide what house
what
my
thorn you're
knight serves?
dedicated to? Yeah.
Maybe.
That's awesome.
I like
I'm
I like
excited.
Oh,
instead
dude,
of calling
what
them
if,
houses,
like-
can we call them thorns? Like
Yeah.
that's just what
Yeah.
they call their thorns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if it's like, the thorn of sleeping beauty can make people fall asleep and
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
And of course, these are like way down, the generational timeline because the
Mhm.
rose was taken away bajillion years ago. So these are like the great grandkids that are just riding the coattails of their, Anyways, Amir, you were very excited about something.
So good.
No, I just love that idea. I
Oh.
love Dylan's idea. Sorry, I just react really strongly.
No, it's great. I love
The
it.
thorn of a.
I mean, I'm
beast.
loving it. I'm feeling
That's all
super
where
flattered tonight.
So like every single thorn's bloodline has something to do with a power that has to do with that Brothers Grimm fairy tale. And I
Mhm.
think that's a beautiful place where it's not really about the fairy tale, but it's sort of like as Joel said, sort of a glimmer of inspiration with regards to a power that each knight has. And knights that try to play different ones can sort of combine their powers. I'm feeling Kirby, but like combine their powers.
Well, like there can be some
Kirby's the greatest,
tertiary and secondary abilities there where like maybe it's not just the thorn or the knights that belong to the thorn of sleeping beauty can make people fall asleep. Maybe it's they have purview over sleep itself. Like they can see into people's dreams and that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
stuff.
That's
Um,
interesting.
My dreams right now.
And you know
So
what would be
good.
fun
What?
is
Mm.
if the names of these thorns aren't super obvious that they belong to like Sleeping Beauty, and then that'll just keep us on our toes and anybody that tunes in, what house